Okay, so now that we're all set up and ready to go, let's go ahead and jump right into our free play example, and in doing so cover some of the basic mechanics of Dorado. So, first up, who gets to go first? Well, that's going to be decided by the dominant player here. So in this case, the dominance is going to go to the Westerners, and the Westerners are going to go first. Now, a quick note is the Westerners can elect to go first or second. In the case of where you've got fewer activations than your opponent has available, you can actually pass in Dorado until you have the same number of activations. So that's a very important thing to note. You can't get horribly out-activated in this game. But in this case, we've got 4 models per side. The Westerners are going to decide to go first. They're going to go ahead and activate the Arquebuser here, and the Arquebuser is going to do a shoot action. So in Dorado, when it's your turn to activate, you get to perform one type of action during your activation, but that type of action generally includes the ability to move, if in some cases, or might include an attack and something else. In this case, we're doing a shot, so we're going to do a ranged attack in Dorado. One moment, please, while I get. There we go. I needed to get my tape measure for this. So we're going with the Arquebuser here, who is going to shoot. So here's our Arquebuser, and the Arquebuser is going to shoot at the Damned One of Gluttony here, and we're going to go ahead and measure range. As I mentioned before, pre-measuring is okay in this game, but what we're checking for is how many range bands is the target within. So looking at the back of the Arquebuser's card here, see if I can get this to focus. Might be hard. There we go. Oh, had it for a second there. The range on the Arquebus is range 8, and you can see that it's reloading too. And I'm sorry for the very poor focus here. It's because I've laminated the cards. Anyway, what that means is range 8 means that we're going to measure in bands of 8. So you can see here that measuring this out, this is within one range band. When I look up the shooting difficulty score, that would be a shooting difficulty of 3. So that's a point-blank range, shooting difficulty of 3. I would need to roll 3s in order to hit. However, you don't just look at the shooting difficulty, you're also going to look at the defense of the target. So the defense of the Damned One of Gluttony is right here. It's defense 4. And you're going to take the higher number. So defense of 4, range difficulty of 3, I'm actually going to need the 4s. So I'm going to look at the Arquebuser's stat here for shooting. That's the SHS stat here. So he has an SHS of 2. So he's going to be rolling 2 dice, needing 4s to hit. However, he has another rule here called Trained Gunman. And Trained Gunman allows him to roll an extra die if he didn't move, and he chose not to move, so he's got 3 die here. And then finally, some other rules about targeting here. Cover would actually reduce that SHS score. Also, models must fire at the closest enemy unit unless that unit isn't in the open, or you spend a command to fire at a different unit. So anyway, this is a straightforward shot. 3 dice, and I need 4s to hit. So I roll and I scored 2 hits here. So now I'm going to go ahead and look at the power chart for the Arquebus, and 2 hits corresponds to 4 damage. Quite nice. So I'm going to mark off a reload mark here. And on the Damned One of Gluttony, I'm going to look for protection. I have no protection, and I'm going to take 4 damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, and with that, the Arquebuser's turn is over, and now it is over to the demons. So the demons are going to go with the Damned One of Gluttony. Why not? Let's try to get some revenge on the Arquebuser here. And so the Damned One of Gluttony is going to perform an attack action. And I realized from measuring the shot that I am within 6 inches of the Arquebuser. So I'm going to go ahead and move my 6 inches to base, which would actually be there. and I'm going to perform an attack on the Arquebuster. Now, the cool thing about Health Dorado is the melee happens simultaneously. So I have a combat of 5 and a defense of 4. Okay. Meanwhile, the Arquebuster has a combat of 3 and a defense of 3. Alright, so Damned One of Gluttony is going to be getting 5 dice, needing 3s because you use the opponent's defense, and the Arquebuster is going to get 3 dice, needing to hit the Damned One of Gluttony's defense of 4. In addition, I'm going to issue a Victus command on the Damned One of Gluttony. So I'm going to spend one of my command points here on the demon side, turn that down to 5, and that's going to allow me to roll 6 dice. And like we were saying before, you only roll 5 dice. So in Hell Dorado, when you're over 5 dice, you're going to re-roll. So I'm going to have 5 dice and a re-roll against 3 dice. And that's it. Normally, the Arquebuster could have benefited from Tenacious. However, the Arquebuster in this case has already activated. So this is the way it's going to be. 3s against 4s. Let's see what we got. I have 1 hit from the Arquebuster, and I'm going to discard those 2. And meanwhile, I have 3 hits from the Gluttony and 1 reroll. That's also a hit, so I have 4 hits there. So let's go ahead and look at effects. The Arquebuster on 1 hit is going to do 2 damage to the Damned One of Gluttony, which nearly kills the Damned One of Gluttony. 1, 2. And meanwhile, the Damned One of Gluttony has scored 4 hits. I'm going to try to really need to fix this backlighting situation here, don't I? Sorry, guys. Alright, so Damned One of Gluttony actually scored 4 hits, which would be 6 damage, which would kill the gunman. However, I want to do Devoured, because Devoured will allow me to gain some of this life back. So I'm going to take, you can select a lower line of damage whenever you score a certain number, any number of hits. So if I score 4 hits, I can choose any one of these lines from 4 and below. So I'm going to choose line 3, which is Devoured, which then transforms me into, which applies the Devoured state to the Arquebuster here, and transforms me into the obese form, Damned One of Gluttony, which is very, very cool. Alright, so I'm going to change out this card and transform into this card, and we'll resolve what happens with the Devoured state at the end of the turn.